Hello, I'm Tom Zawistowski, president of the We the People Convention, and I felt compelled to make this video this morning because I am concerned by the lack of leadership and the ill-informed actions of many of our so-called political and educational leaders in our country and in our state. I am primarily concerned about the ill-advised decision by Ohio Governor DeWine to call a state of emergency after 3 cases of coronavirus were confirmed in Cuyahoga County. Now, don't get me wrong. We understand the coronavirus is an unknown and it's something that is dangerous to some and is important. However, let me put it in perspective, something we have very little of right now because of our actions by our so-called leaders. In Cuyahoga County, already this year, 16 people have died from the regular flu. And there was no state of emergency, and that's appropriate. There was no need for a state of emergency. And yet, the governor declares a state of emergency after 3 cases of coronavirus were confirmed in Cuyahoga County. This has now been followed by a series of actions that can only be called detrimental to our state and to our nation and to you and I, to the citizens of this country. Let me give you an example. Because of the governor's decision, his health director decided that the massive Arnold Schwarzenegger event that takes place in Columbus, Ohio, every year for the last 35 years, that the 200,000 spectators that normally come to it would not be allowed to attend. Now, the problem with that is that event generates $53 million a year to the city of Columbus, to hotels, to taxis and Uber drivers, to the airlines, to restaurants, to all kinds of vendors selling merchandise. By taking this action, which is ill-informed, and in fact ignorant, you are hurting all of those people and their right to make a living. Now, what would prudent action be? Prudent action would be that we know that the coronavirus right now is only serious for people over age 60. Now, what percentage of the 200,000 people attending the Schwarzenegger event do you think would be over 60? This is a bodybuilding event. This is an event for young people. So if the governor wanted to be common sense cautious, they would have said, if you're over 60, we recommend that you don't attend, but the vast majority of the people should come. They didn't do that. And so now we're taking this big hit. This is real money, folks, and it's stupid. You can't have the preventive measures cause more damage to our society than the disease itself. So what do we have now? We've got Kent State University and Akron University suspending classes. The group of people that are least susceptible to coronavirus are college-age people. And even the professors and workers at the universities, most of them aren't over 60. Why are they closing? For no reason at all. But that impacts everyone. People that have their kids at those schools already paid for their room, for their meals. And now they're going to send them home to learn online or quote unquote not learn at all. We the people need to step up and push back on this stupidity. I was very happy that Frank LaRose, the Secretary of State, only decided to move polling locations that were in nursing homes instead of also moving polling locations that were in schools. I had an exchange with Frank this morning and I complimented him on his common sense approach because yes, the virus is dangerous for people in nursing homes. Matter of fact, most of the deaths in America were from nursing home patients. So it makes sense to move the polls out of the nursing homes. But it doesn't make sense to move them out of the schools because there's no threat there. All of us need to protect and defend our freedom, liberty, and prosperity. This is going to destroy our economy for no reason. For no reason. We don't know what the threat of this is. So we take precautions. We wash our hands. If you're over 60, maybe you stay home. But you got to go to these events. You got to keep going to restaurants. You got to keep, doing the things you were always doing. My wife and I, we're going to book a flight to Colorado to see my mother today because I'm not afraid to get on a plane. You know why? Because for the last 3 times we've taken a plane trip, one of us has gotten sick. It's called life. We're not going to stop living life because a bunch of stupid people don't have any common sense. It is up to us to push back and keep things going, because I got news for you, folks. No one benefits from panic. No one. And it's getting out of control. And I heard this stuff about toilet paper. What? That's stupid. There's no real threat here, folks. There's no real threat here. Just take it as it comes. It's not a threat till it's a threat. You take precautions just like you do every day. Live a healthy lifestyle. Wash your hands. Use common sense. If you're sick, yeah, stay home. But don't add to the panic. It's critical. This is what the enemies of our republic want. And by God, the Chinese are watching this really carefully because we got some serious problems because they now know that we can't handle it. And what if they released a real pathogen that was much more dangerous than this as a part of biological warfare? This is serious stuff. Go watch on WeThePeopleConvention.org. Watch the Tucker Carlson clip I put out over the weekend where he talks about the fact that 95% of our drugs are made in China. And he urges the president to put forward a Marshall Plan to say that's unacceptable. And we are going to help start up businesses to make all of those pharmaceuticals in the United States, starting immediately with the goal of having them made here within 9 months or within 6 to 9 months. That's the kind of positive action we need. And we need to bring home all of the stuff that our military needs for their equipment as well. You can't have the communist Chinese holding all the cards. Go to WeThePeopleConvention.org. Watch the Tucker Carlson video. But most importantly, go to church, go to the movies, go to the restaurant, do what you normally do. And anybody that tries to panic, tell them to calm down. Because the number of people that are going to die from this is 2% or less. And most people are not even going to know they got sick. There's no reason to panic. And I'm really counting on you to be the common sense leaders in your community and make sure that we keep things in perspective and we do what Americans do, and that's solve problems and not be victims. Thanks for listening. I'm Tom Zawistowski from the We the People Convention.